Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Don't you like my music, Matt?
I love your music.
Isn't it great?
It's great. Yeah, I do love it. It's just because I did a little song at the beginning. La 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 la.
He's making it sound like I'm like a jihadi.
It's so not
I don't
true.
appreciate it.
Look.
I don't appreciate it.
It's
you know what? This is how we're going to start the damn show.
Listen, it's what you know when you're good friends with someone, when you can have a laugh with them, and that's what we have, because I know it pushes your buttons.
Well, this is the last appearance that Matt Marsden will be making on Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. BlazeTV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, of course, along with well, this isn't his last time, Logan Hall. He's now my favorite.
Until
Blaze Media digital strategist.
Yeah, until
he would never do anything to upset me.
What?
Yeah, it's just you. So I want to get into something that I don't think is going to come as a shock to anyone. Well, not either of you, but I don't think anyone watching. Get ready to clutch your pearls. America has a left-wing violence problem.
Oh, wow. No way!
I know. This is the first time you're hearing of this. But you see, the even bigger problem is that mainstream media, legacy media, is unwilling to even admit to this. In fact, they will claim that, of course, they're going to gaslight you and claim that it's the GOP, that it's white supremacy, that it's all the other things other than what you're seeing, what you're watching happen before your very eyes for the last, like a decade. And here's MSNBC's Nicole Wallace to that point.
You've got polls about political violence. Democrats don't think it's a good idea. Only Republicans, only people inclined to consume conservative media are now, I think, upward of 50% say that if necessary, violence is okay. You've only got the conduct on one of the two sides.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to 2016. The police ambush, Dallas Police Department, the congressional baseball shooting. That was a Bernie bro that carried that one out. The Tacoma ICE facility firebombing in 2019. The Antifa shooting of a Patriot Prayer member in Portland in 2020. The, of course, mostly peaceful BLM riots in 2020 as well. And, of course, you've got Thomas Matthew Crooks, who shot and nearly killed Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, who was also an Act Blue donor. Ryan Routh, the Ukraine fanatic, and an Act Blue donor, also tried to, of course, ambush and kill Donald Trump just a few months later. May 2025, there was an Antifa arson at the University of Washington. By the way, that's not even counting all of the pop-up protests, riots across college campuses, Harvard, all of these Ivy League schools. And now we have another case of left-wing violence we can add to the list, the slaying of two Israeli diplomats, Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram, outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday night. And you have the suspect who was on video, Free Palestine, on video, right, as he was getting arrested. And the left didn't just ignore the story. Many radicals just basically celebrated the murders by showing solidarity on social media. You would expect that this would be the time that they would be like, all right, guys, violence is bad. We should not be killing people. And they didn't do that much.
And opened fire, striking both of our decedents.
Free Palestine, free the world from Israel. Israel is the enemy of humanity.
And was detained by event security. Once in handcuffs,
he did the only thing they know how to do, wake up America.
The weapon,
all my prayers to Palestine, free Palestine.
He implied that he committed the offense.
Is the suspect okay? It must be traumatic for him.
Palestine.
That's one. Brave man is another one. Brave man, free Palestine. Is the suspect okay? That's enough. That's enough. You also had, do we have the Ilhan Omar clip, Stephen?
No, I don't have that.
I asked for it.
I saw it.
I asked for it. They were asking her, do you have a comment on this? Do you have a statement on this? God, Lee, I asked for it. Do you have a statement on this? And she was like, what did she say?
She said, I'm going to move along.
I'm just going to move along now. Just like some people did some things.
Yeah,
I guess was what she said, referencing 9/11. I'm just going to move along now. I mean, you at least had AOC, who I don't believe that she believed what she was posting on social media, but she did at least feel the need to post something for posterity of like, violence is never okay, and we cannot, anti-Semitism is bad, and we cannot be going to this level, even though she knows that she and the rest of the squad are fanning the flames.
Ilhan Omar posted something a few hours later, too, after she was called out for...
Did she?
Yes, she did.
Similar to AOC?
Yeah, pretty much like violence has no place in our country. And it's like, well... Number one, this isn't your country, okay? Like that's one of my problems. First off, let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there.
Yeah,
there's no our here, all right? But yeah, this is what the left loves to do. They made that. I don't know if in your roundup you included that Luigi Mangione. Did you?
No, and that's what I'm saying. I didn't even. That was not all comprehensive.
Yeah, it's an endless list.
Yeah.
But they turned this guy into their hero, okay? And they. Leftists love violence. They love it. They love violence against their perceived enemies. They love violence just for the chaos that it unleashes on society. Your government and law enforcement are supposed to have a monopoly on it. Now we have safeguards like the Second Amendment, specifically so that they don't have a total monopoly on violence. But leftists don't like the state having this, a state's job is to keep its citizens safe and protected, right? Leftists do not like that sort of state sanctioned, this is the whole point of a social contract, right? That you enter into with the government. If it can keep you safe, then you'll say, okay, well, I'll stop living in this absolute liberty and I won't go out and just slaughter people on their homes for my own liberty or whatever, right? But leftists do not like this. They say we need to take matters into our own hands and overthrow the state through revolution, through revolutionary means. And this always includes street violence. It includes political violence. They love it. It's at the end of the day, it's all about power for them. And we cannot forget, they have overseen the worst atrocities in history. Killed tens of millions of their own citizens, mind you. It's not just like people. It's like the farmers that they think are terrible in South Africa, right? Why do they think they're terrible? Number one, they think that they were committing violence. They have to answer for their past sins. They're committing violence just by existing there.
This is reparations for them.
This is reparations for them. It's equity. Do you ever ask what the logical endpoint of DEI and equity is? It's killing people, okay? Yeah. It's killing the farmers. They even say this stuff out loud. They say, we need, the means of, what do you think seizing the means of production means? That means they take away from the farmers, and then suddenly you kill all the farmers, nobody knows how to farm, and you starve all your people.
Right.
This is always what the left does. This is always what, they are full-blown communists. So, I actually wonder how many Democrats we have left in this country versus how much of their party is just full-on gay race communists. And it's increasingly a lot of them who believe in these sort of terrorist tactics.
Yes, but not because I don't want to let you completely blackpill everyone. It can't possibly be.
I'm not blackpilled. I'm just saying this is who the left is.
I mean,
right?
it is because I think that the ones who were the moderate ones, who were the normal ones, are now Republicans, or maybe now call themselves independents because they don't like the term Republicans, but they certainly don't see themselves as a Democrat anymore, specifically because of what you're talking about. Because if they did, well, the election would have had a much different outcome, right? So we can at least take solace in the fact that they are still not the majority. There are way too freaking many of them out there, especially when Joe Biden was still in office and they were like, oh, 40% of people approve of Joe Biden. And I'm like, okay, I get it, that's low, but that's way too freaking high for what the hell is going on right now. So I'm not saying that there aren't a whole bunch of crazy radicals, but we can at least know they are not the majority in this country. We will never let them be the majority.
I think I would clarify that the super crazy ones are obviously very fringe. Yeah. Right? But the Democrats have ceded so much control over their party messaging and strategy that it looks like the entire thing is what the radicals are pushing.
Yeah,
they have lost control of their radicals, which is I've said this before, but it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here, because this woke insanity Frankenstein monster that they've created, is it too big for them to dial it back now and scale back? I don't know. We're going to find that out. I put that question out there the other day, but people seemed pretty confused. They didn't know which way this is headed. It's very scary. We need to crack down on violence. We need
Yes,
law and
of
order
course. Yeah.
severely.
Of course, law and order severely. And I'm not to say, I don't mean that to say I hope that there is more violence, but I do hope that this crazed, lunatic, radical leftism is what takes over the party, because they're never going to win another freaking election.
Well, what they've been is very intentional and very strategic with the crazies, because what they've done is they've put them in positions of power that are amplifying. So, for example, they put them in at Harvard, they put them in at Yale, they put them in at these Ivy League schools, they put them in the media. So all of a sudden, what you're doing is
the government
and the government, but I'm talking like outside of that. What they've done has been very, very smart. Because they've gradually worked their way especially into the media. But be careful what you wish for, because we all know that the communist ideals, they just don't work in real life. They'll try and tell you that it wasn't implemented correctly over there and we've got a better way. But America just...
That wasn't true communism.
No, it wasn't true communism. They didn't get it right. But the great thing about America is it's so different to that it gives such a stark comparison. And I don't think America will ever move that way. But I want to make a bigger point. This is all rooted in a lack of faith. It's all rooted in people moving away from God and a creator, because what they are looking for is purpose. And what comes out when you don't understand there's an objective moral good, it ends up being subjective, what I want. And that's, for a while, that's okay, because they look across at the other dysfunctional person and they say, hey, you're dysfunctional, I'm dysfunctional. We both want to get here, right? So let's work to those ends together. But when they get there, they actually look at each other and go, we disagree. Right? It's like gays for Palestine. Are you out of your mind? Like, what you said, they were throwing people in Iraq. They were throwing people off buildings.
Look, if the gays want to go over to Palestine, and they could see what happens.
Or drag queens want to.
But again,
they could see what happens if they're unclear on that.
Well,
they can go see for themselves.
I said I would love for Israel to say, if you say free Palestine, we will put on a plane to fly you over, and you can protest over here, and then they can take care of all those. They have to do what they have to do. But look, I mean, I saw this years ago when I wrote and directed I Am That Man, the movie that I did. It was because I started seeing the rise of anti-Semitism and the fact that everyone was like looking the other way. And now, have you noticed it's the media's been fantastic in a bad way. Mainstream media has made it all about what is going on rather than how it started. Like, they've memory holed October the 7th. Like, that's gone. Nobody even thinks about that anymore. And again, it's up to, this is why you have to like and subscribe to Sarah's show and the Blaze and everyone here, because we're the ones telling the truth. And you've got to cut through it. I do not understand how, well, I do, because what they're doing is they're saying, this is our purpose. We have purpose now. We've moved from, there was George Floyd, that's our purpose. There's BLM, I done it, that didn't really work. And they're just looking for purpose and power. And because there's no logic or reason in what they do, what does that end up in? Frustration and violence. So if you ever confront any one of these people, they can't argue their point to the end. They can't do it because they haven't thought it through. You know what I mean? It's just a lapel pin to them.
Yeah. They're searching for the next current thing, right? And we've obviously, Elon's made that tougher because Twitter was sort of like the central nervous system for like what the regime wanted to program people to believe, and Elon kind of broke that up. I would like to point out, I'm pretty sure the suspect's name in this was like Elias Rodriguez.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a Hispanic person shouting "Free Palestine" in Washington, D.C. I am an American, okay? Why? Like, I don't, I wish whoever well, but like this is halfway across the world, and it's not really my problem as an American.
It's none of our business.
It's none of our business. I don't really care personally. I don't really have a dog in this fight. I want America to succeed. My loyalty is only to America. The fact that, this is such a warning against mass immigration and allowing foreign influence in your country, because this should not be really any concern of our media, of our Congress, of our country. This is like, it's not our business, okay? And I would be very annoyed. You know, I can't imagine going over to another country and being like, you guys have to care about everything that happens in America. You are being a terrible, terrible guest in a country that you were lucky enough to be let in. I think it is so rude to Americans to force all of these like foreign issues. You know, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, all these people care about is like these foreign countries. It's like, this is not, if this is all you are focused on, you should probably, like Matt said, we should probably give you a one-way ticket to those countries. You can have fun. And you can have fun and you can care about it there. But this is America. Don't make your problems our problems.
Yeah. So speaking of which, the Department of Homeland Security earlier this afternoon announced that they're eliminating the student visa program at Harvard because of all of the pro-terrorist conduct at all of these campus protests. And they're asking for protest footage and disciplinary records. And they're like, yeah, you know what? You guys have not taken proper care of making sure that you're not bringing in pro-terrorist, students here. And we're just going to terminate your whole program because you don't just get to do that. You don't just get to import terrorists and be like, oh, but they're learning something really important.
There's a really fun exercise you can do where if you go and look through the graduating classes, like 50 years ago at our elite universities compared to now. Nowadays, the graduating classes, there's like 2 American names in there out of all of them. It's like a bunch of Asians and like people with Star Wars names, right. Sarah. Okay. People that are like, should not be here. We're educating all of these foreigners at our universities.
That our tax dollars are going to, by the way.
Tax dollars go to, and then we are educating them to compete against Americans for jobs in our country. Yeah. It is insanity.
Total insanity.
You need to shut down all of these all these foreign exchange, like whatever. Quit it.
Yes.
You need to stop educating the world.
Yes.
It's more than that.
On our tax dollars. On our tax dollars.
We're having them in these elite institutions, and then we're telling them how bad America is and how much they should hate America, and then allowing them to. And listen, I am an immigrant who came here, and you know, especially, I am 100%.
Matt, you're easier to assimilate than a Haitian. Okay?
Well, listen,
it's just true. It's just true.
When I came here, I'm like, I am an American. I get people say to me, "Oh, you're actually." I'm like, I'm an American. I care about America. That is it. Of course, I look over to the UK and I see what's going on there, and it concerns me. But my priority is this country, and that is it. And I agree. I'm probably the most radical on immigration than even more than you. I'm like, I don't know about that. Do you know how much it pisses me off when I hear people say immigrant? I'm like, do not miss out the part that says illegal.
Yeah.
Because I spent hundreds.
But the left does that on purpose. But that's intentional, though, Matt.
Of course
you
it
know
is.
That's intentional.
But here's the thing. They
want to make it sound like it's the same, so they can call us big meanies for saying immigrants should leave.
It also obfuscates the issue, which is that you are like did you see those South Africans who came over here the other day?
Yes.
Every single one of them is
beautiful families, waving American flags.
All happy families. Yep. It's not some Haitian that's coming here and burning something down or eating people's cats.
Cats.
Eating the dogs. Okay. They're eating the cats. And they were, by the way. They're eating the dogs.
Yep. Taking over apartment complexes, Tren de Aragua.
It is insane.
Sorry,
it's
Logan.
insane though.
Every single one of these journalists in the Oval Office is asking Trump. They're like, "Why would you suspend the status for Venezuelans and Haitians and Somalians when you're letting South Africans in?" It's like, well, pretty obviously. Have you seen what the Haitians have done, like versus the South Africans coming here waving American flags? Drastic difference, okay? But to pretend like these are not different requires a level of cognitive dissonance that is like. Only a leftist could be so insane to claim this, okay? Yeah. But to your point, we should look to Europe because America was born out of Europe, all right? We weren't born out of any other country. Mm-hmm. Now, we can say, like, their problems should remain there. I'm not going to sit here and, like, I'm very sad about what's happening in the UK and Britain. I think they should deport them all. Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm going to go over to Britain and be like, hey, you guys need to care about everything that's happening in America right now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
And they also talk about things that, Oscar Wilde says that we're two countries separated by a common language. And even though we can look over and, just physically we look over and we look, hey, we're similar looking, right? England is a very different place. White? I do mean white. No, I do. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's not bad to say that they're white people over there, but even black people are different than blacks over here. They are.
Yeah.
They have a different attitude. By the way, they're mainly West Indian over there in the UK, but they are. They're from Jamaica and West Indian. I grew up with them, so they're not Africans over there. But the whole thing about this is that Brits do not have the same appreciation of our rights. Like, they don't have an appreciation of the Second Amendment. They don't have an appreciation of the First Amendment. They just don't. So you have to educate them on that. And a lot of them don't get it, right? So stay over there. I will guarantee you there will be asylum seekers coming from the UK, white and black, by the way. British people will be coming to America within the next 10 years.
I think the
You
better
watch.
solution would be we need to restore the British Empire to its former glory. I think we
51st
should.
state.
I think we
That's
should. I think we
51st
should.
state.
I think we should just try it out for size, see what happens.
All right. Make sure if you're watching this right now, make sure that you hit the like button. It'll help us in the algorithm. Make sure you're subscribed as well. YouTube does a lot of funny business with this show. I'm just saying, even though we're recently remonetized, which we don't know how long that's going to last. But make sure that you're subscribed and comment. It'll help us out. All right. Want to thank our sponsor this segment, Relief Factor. So Relief Factor, they have this 3-week quick start. If you're in pain, listen up. Okay. They have a 3-week quick start. It's $19.95. So that's less than $1 a day to try to see if you can get rid of your pain and start living better, because whether it's knee pain, neck pain, back pain, he knows about pain. He knows a lot about
taking
pain.
it.
Yes.
I'm taking it right now.
And it works. It's worked for him. It's worked for me. It's worked for Jakub Bujans, his mom. It's worked for so many people in this building, because what it is, it's drug-free, by the way. So it's not like, it was actually developed by doctors who were tired of giving their patients these hardcore pain meds that were making their patients loopy. They didn't want to do that. And so it's drug-free, and it is a very, very highly potent anti-inflammatory, which you don't realize if you get rid of the inflammation in your body, it can just either greatly reduce or completely eliminate your pain. And that can be life-changing for you if you're just living that way. Don't do that. Go to relieffactor.com, get their 3-week quick start. Again, it's $19.95 and it's backed by a guarantee. So you've got nothing to lose except your pain. Literally. Relieffactor.com. Rogue judges continue to be added again. We have yet another, several, just within the last couple of days. A Biden-appointed federal judge, Brian E. Murphy, ordered the return of 8 illegal aliens who had already been deported despite their violent criminal records. And by violent, I mean like homicide, child rape, drug trafficking, kidnapping, and armed robbery. So this is not like minor petty offenses. And the ICE deported them to a third country after their home countries refused to take them back, because that's like what you can do. The home countries are like, no, they suck. We don't want them. And ICE is like, well, we don't want to keep them. So they deported them to a third country. And because these people committed very serious crimes, and this judge said that the deportations violated a court order because the men weren't given a fair chance to object. Despite their long immigration histories, they weren't given a chance to object. I mean, was the person that one of them murdered given a chance to object? Was the child who got raped given a chance to object? Was the person who got kidnapped or the person who was robbed while they were armed, were they given a chance to object? No, I don't think so. And somehow we're supposed to give these illegal criminals a chance to object. You've got another one here. What is this, like Judge Myong Jun? Doesn't sound very American to me. Does that look that's the guy? That's the guy that's supposed to tell us that the Department of Education, President Trump is not allowed to dismantle it. President Trump is not, they said largely shutter it, right? President Trump is not allowed to largely shutter the Department of Education in the interest of efficiency and promoting the country's education goals. And he said that the record abundantly reveals that the defendant's true intention is to effectively dismantle the department without an authorizing statute. The idea that the defendant's actions are merely reorganization is plainly not true. As if it's any of the judge's business. What literally the highest executive in the entire country we just voted on in November, and we said deport all the illegals and dismantle all of these government bureaucracies. It was very, very clear. I mean, he literally went on stage and he pranced around autistic Elon and was like, this is the guy that I'm going to put in charge of rooting out all of this waste, fraud, and corruption so that you as a taxpayer know that your money is not going to like all this redundancy and all of this corruption and all that. And we were like, oh, okay, yeah, deport the illegals and get rid of all of the corruption and maybe, I don't know, like reduce our taxes. Oh, okay, yeah, we're going to vote for him. And the judges are like, nope. Nope, not while we're around. And so now you have all of these rogue judges trying as hard as they can to prevent President Trump from implementing literally any of his policies. It is nuts. And by the way, I blame a lot of Congress because they're doing nothing to address it. There are actual bills, including one by my congressman, Brendon that he has introduced that would at least impeach one of the rogue judges.
Yeah.
Boasberg, I believe, is his. There's like four different congressmen with 4 different judges. And nobody wants to do anything about it.
Yeah. At least Congress like passed some legislation this morning. Now we'll wait to see if it's actually good, because I don't know if a lot of legislation is good to go through Congress, but it has Trump's backing. So I will support it for now.
Yeah, let's talk about the big beautiful bill after the break. Yeah.
Sorry, Judge Myung June.
Yeah, Myung
June says that you're not allowed to have a country anymore.
Right.
Okay, well that's really interesting. Which side of the Civil War do you think his ancestors fought for? I wonder. No, it's all these. Again, I've said this before. All these foreign and like DEI judges that are put on the bench by Democrats are there to protect foreigners and DEI jobs. Okay, that's it. That's all they're there for. And the Trump administration eventually, you know.
By the way, he was born in South Korea.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah. No, I know.
Did you deduce that?
I did.
You not even
No.
Didn't sound American enough for you?
I looked it up today. I made sure, because I want to be, when I make insults on Twitter, when I throw around insults about foreigners, I want to make sure that I am doing it accurately. I do my research. But at some point or another, the Trump administration is going to have to say, we were elected for a purpose. We weren't elected to like have our agenda railroaded at every which turn by some crazy liberal activist judge who wants to destroy this country and who hates America and hates Trump and hates all of our voters. We're just not going to do that. Okay. They have to, at some point or another, they should follow the Andrew Jackson option, which is the justice has made his decision. Now let him enforce it. Okay. Tell these people to screw off. Trump has enormous executive power. Yep. Even if, I understand the presidency. This is something that a lot of people talk about, in right-wing spheres nowadays, but that the presidency has been like sort of degraded into this just like TV job. They don't actually wield the power that they used to. Think about the enormous power that Abraham Lincoln used to wield, or FDR, or Teddy Roosevelt. This was like, you are the chief executive of the country, all right? You are number one. You are in charge. It doesn't really matter. Like, you have some checks and balances, whatever, but they keep talking about habeas corpus. Lincoln suspended habeas corpus because there was a war going on. Trump has said similar things, that we were invaded. We are invaded. Yes. Okay. The precedent is thrown out the window. I don't care what some judge says. Get these people the hell out of here and give us our country back. Right.
And who do you think that the founding fathers intended to have more power? Someone who was elected to be the highest executive, officer of the land, or a Biden appointed judge, right? It's like, I'm
a foreigner who's not even from here.
Right. A Biden appointed judge who's from South Korea. Who do you think, when you're looking back at how the founding fathers decided to set up this country, who do you think that they wanted to have the power to make these decisions? Yeah. Some random appointed judge by God knows who might not even be from this country, or the guy that everyone voted into office? Like, it's nuts to me that we've even let it get this far.
Well, I mean, part of the point of this is that Joe Biden didn't appoint anybody.
So true.
Yeah,
no, he didn't.
Shit.
I mean, let's be honest.
It was an invalid. It's invalid president.
It seriously is invalid. And if we had a decent, effective system, this is the problem, because we're too bloated. If the government was smaller, what would have happened was people would have gone through and they would have said, Ketanji Brown Jackson as well. No, she doesn't get in, and gone through and get rid of all the people that he appointed and all the people that he pardoned. The pardon is the most egregious because it's the last thing that he did. He did, right? Of course, he didn't do it. We all know that he didn't do it. But look, again, I'm an immigrant and I'm all for making it so that you can only be a sitting member of Congress. If you are born in this country, you can only be a judge if you are born in this country, because it's too easy for foreign people. And look, we don't tend to look at this like it's a war. If you are China and you've got a 1,000-year plan, we don't even have a 5-year plan. China has a 1,000-year plan. What are you going to do? You're going to send people over. You're going to get them into the colleges. You're going to get them elected. They don't even have to fire a shot. We've seen this already. And the first, and by the way, I'm not going to go back to saying that we were right about the tariffs, but we were right about the tariffs, about trying to, what China was doing was raping us for years. And then what Trump said was, hang on a minute, no, I'm going to use our economy, which, by the way, isn't a given that it's always going to be like this. It's not a given that we're always going to be free, right? So we have to understand that America is seriously, do you remember that phrase? What was it? A constitutional republic, if you can keep it, that America will be attacked from the inside. This is what's going on. We are at war right now, and people are like walking through like zombies, and they're not understanding that this is the time that we've been given, that we have to turn around to Trump and say, I hate to say this because it's very dangerous, but the opposite is even more dangerous, but we need more of an authoritarian approach to this.
So true.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. We've got to do it to clean it up.
Yeah, you have
because
to.
everybody's so corrupt. There's so much on the take. The Republicans are just terrible. They're only out for themselves. We've seen this with Mike Johnson. So what we need to do is we've got a guy that's trying to rectify it. Will he make some mistakes? Will he break some eggs? Yes. But as you said, Sarah, we've got a bunch of former Democrats there, right? They know what's up. They know what's up, and they will rein him in. He's got a great team. Clean house.
You don't even need an authoritarian.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.
So true. So true.
Last word.
You don't even need an authoritarian approach to this. Trump has the consent of the governed.
Yes.
The actual American people are fully on board with whatever Trump wants to do.
That's what I'm saying. They want him to do
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, we just voted for you to do this.
We've gotten so far away from what the founding constitutional republic was supposed to be that you're going to have to break some rules, some of our modern liberal norms and rules to get it back to it.
Yeah. All right, we've got to take a quick break. We'll get into the big, beautiful bill after the break. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. So Patriot Mobile is, listen, if you're not on Patriot Mobile, I don't know what you're waiting for. You can get the same nationwide coverage that you're getting with one of the big mobile carriers that you're probably with now. But what you're not going to get is they're going to take a portion of your bill over at Patriot Mobile, and instead of doing what Big Mobile does, which is they're funding all of these left-leaning causes that if you're watching this program, you're probably fighting against, right? Patriot Mobile is not going to do that. They're actually going to offer you a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience, because they are, of course, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, and they are taking a portion of your bill, and they are supporting the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, and our veterans and first responders. You can keep your number, you can keep your phone, or you can upgrade. You can really, it's like you can customize it however you want over at Patriot Mobile. And I'm just telling you, go to this link that I'm about to give you. Odds are they're going to save you money as well. Go check them out, patriotmobile.com/Sarah. And right now you can get a free month of service with promo code Sarah, a free month of service on top of knowing that you are paying for your cell phone coverage with, like-minded people. The greatest patriots I know, Glenn and Jenny Story over there at Patriot Mobile. patriotmobile.com/Sarah, promo code Sarah.
On this vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 214, with one answering present. The bill is passed. USA, USA.
USA.
So that was, of course, the passage of Trump's big, beautiful bill, which obviously narrowly passed in the House. And boy, you could feel the enthusiasm there. palpable there with you.
Well, it was also like 5 a.m, so we can cut a little slack, but
I guess
it was like 5 a.m.
I guess you had all Democrats voting against it, and 2 Republicans, Thomas Massey, of course, and Warren Davidson of Ohio, voting against it with the Democrats after an all-nighter. And when you think all-nighter, you think of like a big rager. And no, it was just a bunch of oldies in Congress trying to figure out whether or not they were going to pass this bill. President Trump was very excited. There are a lot of good things about it, and then there are a lot of things that I hesitate. I understand the hesitation of, we were going through the breakdown of like, well, there's this caucus who wants this, and they're not going to get it. There's this caucus who wants this, and they're not going to get it. And I was just like, I don't envy y'all's position because I understand the hesitancy, but at the same time, there's a lot of good things in this bill, and we've got to go in the direction that the president wants us to go in to be able to fund all of this, border patrol and bringing police officers back in and bringing in law and order again. And, it passed the House. Now it goes to the Senate.
Well, for me, it gets to a point where if you're going to have activist judges that are stopping doing, the president's will, every Republican should just vote yes and hold their nose and just say, I don't give a shit. If you're going to do this, I'm just going to pass every single thing that he puts in front of me. But and look, I love Massey, right? I respect him a lot. But guys, come on.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, we're principled when the left is playing for keeps on everything. It is so dumb. It's like, hey guys, hey jihadis, the army's rolling through in 10 minutes, and they're like, oh, okay, and they get rid of their gun. It's like, you got to play to win sometimes, and this is the time to do it. Like, by you, okay, I get it. You get your little flag and you go, yeah, I stood up to that and blah blah. But I think that the majority of American people would go, if you stood up to them and said, listen, this is happening over here. They're undermining us. We can't get anything through. So I'm just going to pass every single thing that the president says because I'm sick of this. Yep. We don't do that. But guess what? How many of the Democrats voted for it?
Right.
0.
Right.
Well, you also see this dynamic playing out time and time again in Congress where the Republicans, the GOP, are severely fractured. So they have to, they're playing like they have to herd these sheep, 10 different pastures of sheep into one little whatever you'd call it, cage or whatever. You can tell that I'm not a farmer, obviously. But they're trying to corral all these different factions, all these different warring factions, the libertarians, the fiscal hawks, the freedom, everything. They don't present a united front. When Democrats get together, they could be voting to raise taxes to 150%. They would all do it because they are unified, okay? They are unified in their mission. It's because the left views politics as like an actual battlefield, and Republicans view politics as like a debate club. Like, we need to let our principles, like, it's like you're a dork. Shut up. Okay, get behind the president. The midterms are coming up. They don't have a ton of time. 4 years is short. 2 years is even shorter, okay? So they should be there every single day, just voting. This is what the president wants. I'll do it. We're going to vote. We're going to vote on this. We're going to vote on that. We're going to codify every executive order. We're going to get everything done, overwhelm the system, and see what happens. But they're so lackadaisical with their approach. It's like their heads aren't actually in the game. It's like, do you care about saving the country? Like, it's not like you are that popular, okay, Mike Johnson? Right. People love Trump.
Right.
People don't love the GOP,
right.
Okay? So it's not like you're going to win forever, or the people are going to keep voting for you as soon as Trump goes away. That is not the case.
Yeah.
They need to get there. I would say there are a heck of a lot of Trump voters, okay? There are a lot less GOP voters, all right?
You're right. You're absolutely
if the Republicans do not deliver and they keep scorning their base, the base is just going to eventually say, all right, well, we're going to pick up our stuff and go home. And you see this time and time again. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
How many GOP senators voted for Biden's thing, the infrastructure bill?
Right. How many of them voted to send our money to Ukraine. How about that?
For Ukraine.
Now all of a sudden we don't have the money? Okay.
They're
You sent it
all
all to
on board. They
Ukraine.
always all get on board in the name of bipartisanship with Democrats. But the Democrats never do this.
Never,
Never do
never.
this
Never.
in return for us. So why do we still play this game?
Exactly. All right. I hate to cut you guys off, but I've got an interview that I've got to do. And so we gotta take a break. Love you both. You're great. All right, we got to take a break. First, want to thank our sponsor, Preborn. So Preborn is there for Golly, they're doing God's work. I really mean when I say that, and I'm partnering with them to sponsor 600 ultrasounds this month. We're already off to a great start, but we need your help because what they're doing is so important. They are providing scared pregnant women with unplanned pregnancies. They're providing them the truth, which is, of course, an ultrasound and listening to their baby's heartbeat. And once this scared woman who's thinking about terminating her baby, once they actually see their baby on ultrasound and hear the heartbeat, they're twice as likely to choose life. So the cost of an ultrasound is $28. We're trying to get to 600. How many can you help us get to? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this graphic yet. We're so close, you guys. We're almost to 450. We've got to get to 600. There's still time left in this month. Can you please, $28, please. That's all I'm asking for. If every single viewer just donates $28, we will hit our goal and then some. We will excel our goal tremendously. Please, preborn.com/Sarah. Donate securely over at preborn.com/Sarah. I want to welcome to the show my friend, Brendon Leslie. He is the founder and CEO of Florida's Voice over there in Florida. And Brendon, you just have successfully fended off a $1 million defamation lawsuit filed by a Chinese-backed 2024 Republican state senatorial candidate by the name of Bowen Ko. Tell us very briefly about this suit, because this is nuts that you're in Florida. This was a Republican candidate, and they're suing you. Why?
Yeah, it's interesting because this guy was touting that he's like this big Trump Republican candidate, but he had a lot of Chinese donations, non-U.S. Citizen support. And, Florida's Voice, we just did the simple reporting and asked them the hard questions. And we were like, hey, what's up with all this support? Well, when we started reporting about the truth and getting the stuff out there that the mainstream media fails to talk about, all of a sudden he's slapping us with a $1 million lawsuit and trying to, he's trying to bully us into submission. And it was really interesting because he denied having Chinese donors. But then when he went to court, he sued a bunch of different organizations at the same time for defamation, all over this same issue. And when he got the deposition and had a deposition in court, he had contradicted himself and said, yeah, I do have a Chinese donor and non-U.S. support. So I don't know. It felt like he was trying to keep the truth out there because he ended up losing in a historic landslide.
Yeah. So he sued you for calling him a Chinese national?
There was a letter sent to Governor Ron DeSantis where the person in the letter said, hey, he's a Chinese nationalist. He's running for office. You need to look out for him. And we just reported the news. I didn't even call him a Chinese nationalist. And then he sued me and said, oh, Florida's Voice is calling me a Chinese nationalist. Meanwhile, this guy was born and raised in China, has all this China support, hires Chinese workers for his private business, sells Chinese product. Like, he's all about China. We even caught him in a Chinese media doing an interview once saying, hey, I'm running for office for Florida Senate because I want more Chinese voices in the American political system.
Wow. But how dare you point that out, Brendon?
Yeah, and this is the whole point. I love groups like Blaze Media. This is a big reason why I started Florida's Voice, because we're asking those questions. This is the news that Florida readers and watchers, everyone alike, wants to hear about. They want to know the real backstory of these political candidates, and we don't want foreign nationalists or any sort of foreign interests infiltrating our American political systems. China's one of our biggest enemies. Believe it or whether you want to believe it or not, they are. That's just the reality of it. And they're trying to influence our political system. They were buying up farmland. Florida banned China from buying any of our farmland because they're buying up strategic land near military bases. You mean to tell me they're just doing agriculture? No, they're spying on our military bases. So when Florida's Voice does this reporting, we get slapped with $1 million lawsuit. We don't have the big corporate attorneys like CNN and Fox do. So they were hoping that we were going to just settle and be successfully bullied so that we'd shut up. And I said to my lawyers, absolutely not. I don't care. I'm willing to take that risk. And thankfully, over a year later, we won. They're giving us our attorney's fees. And you know what was really funny? Sarah, like when we were doing this reporting and they slapped us with this lawsuit, the mainstream media, of course, I'll never forget this, propped this guy up and they were like, oh, poor Bowen, it's all about racism. I kid you not, in the court hearing, I'm like, this guy said he was a Trump MAGA Republican, and in the court, they're accusing me of doing this reporting because I'm racist against, quote, Chinese appearing people. It was amazing.
Wait, so not just Chinese people, but Chinese appearing people.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, if you hear this guy talk, you know he's from China. You do. I don't know what Chinese appearing. Am I Irish appearing? White man? Like,
right. It's funny.
I don't know.
It's funny that you say that. I was just talking to my panelists, and we were talking about this latest judge that told President Trump he can't dismantle the Department of Education, and his name's like Myong Yoon or something. And it's like, boy, doesn't that sound American to you? Yeah, there he is. Well, well, turns out no, he is from South Korea. So, yeah, I mean, Brendon, I congratulate you on this win. This is a really, really big win, not just for Florida's Voice, but for independent media everywhere. Because as you pointed out, I mean, we are the alternative media. We are the ones who are going out and getting these stories that mainstream media doesn't want to report on. And when you have people like the Bo and Co. and these other people who have very large pocketbooks, they want to try to punish you for that.
Yep. I say it all the time. Florida's Voice mission, I bet Blaze Media would agree with me, is that we're trying to redefine the mainstream media. I don't think mainstream media is main anymore. I really think more and more people are coming to independent media, such as my organization, your organization, and others. I mean, you saw it with the last presidential election. I credit President Trump and his team out the wazoo for going on all these podcasts, all these shows, all these alternative media, because that's where the real people are consuming their media and getting information in real time. And listen, Florida has become one of the deepest, reddest states in the last decade, and we don't have an actual news outlet telling conservative news. So that's why I quit mainstream media. I was like, we need a conservative news teller in Florida's Voice, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. Tell everyone where they can find you guys and read all of your very, very amazing stories. You guys are doing great work over there.
The easiest way is to just head over to our website. That's flvoicenews.com. And on there, you'll see we also have a statewide syndicated radio show that airs simultaneously online as well. So we're not going to stop, and we're never going to let the Communist Party of China intimidate us. Listen, this is the free state of Florida, and you don't belong here.
I love it. I love it. Brendon, I'm so proud of all the great work. You're taking over Florida over there with the radio show and the website, and Brendon's coming for you if your name is Bo and Co. Thank you.
Got a great team of journalists that are doing it for me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for all of y'all's great work, and thank all of your employees as well. Thanks, Brendon.
I appreciate the time.
See ya. All right. Well, we've got to go. My gosh, the show has flown by. Those of you who remember AmericanBeautyBySarah.com, people are like, what shade are you wearing? Today, we're wearing Miss America. You can find over at AmericanBeautyBySarah.com. We've got one more show tomorrow before we go into Memorial Day weekend. So I hope you will join us. Been drinking from a fire hose all week. I would anticipate that will be the same. And we will see you there tomorrow. See you then.